I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I want to run this Publix thing into the ground here because there's so much
Yes.
to dissect about that. So
Yes, there's so
there's
much
so
like
much. I could do a whole episode about it because it's so fucking important. It's so important, and
yeah.
people don't talk about it enough. Jesus Christ! And it's a time drainer, yes, but the biggest factor is that it's an energy drainer. It is
Yes.
most certainly an energy drainer,
And
and
it's
when
not
I
fulfilling. So
It's
it's
not, and
like
that's what drains your energy too. Because if it was fulfilling, then it wouldn't drain so much energy. It would actually fill you up with
it would
energy,
give
I
you
find.
life.
Yeah,
You
like
wouldn't have
this
to worry about
podcast or the stand up fills me with energy. Like I look forward to these things every day. And Publix, dude, I dread Publix. And for the last 2 weeks, I've done 35, 40 hours for last week and this week. Because
wow.
Greg's just got me hella hours. So I was
Craig
like,
is in love with you, bro.
he's got me hella hours, man. So yeah, and it's just draining. It's oh my god, and I'm able to do it a lot easier just because I know it's about to be done. But if it wasn't about to be done, like it's not sustainable. It's not for someone who
Yeah.
wants to be happy or for someone who has like dreams and aspirations. It's not fucking sustainable because it's gonna drain you too much, and then you get sucked up in it too bad, and you're just gonna be engulfed by it, and you're gonna lack energy, and then you won't be able to do anything. And you talk to these people who work at these stores and they're like 40, 50, 60 years old. You ask them how long they've been there for. They're like 20 years. It's like shit. I cannot. Like I'll
Literally,
be dead. I'll be dead, man. I can't. I wouldn't be able to survive that.
did you see that paper of the anniversary paper? And it was
Yeah.
like a list of people who was like there for like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years. Like literally, I was like tearing up reading that. I was like, this is too many names. Like
I
I
know,
can't
and
even
they were
imagine
celebrating
like
it too. I was like, man, I don't. This isn't a celebration. That's like, I feel bad for
oh
these
my
people.
I was like, oh my god, I need a blunt after reading this. Like, I can't. Shit
Oh,
was, oh my god. Yeah, but I'm so glad. I feel like this is why like it's hard for me to have regrets because if I didn't have that experience, if I did not have that experience, I would not have realized that I'm in my own way or like work is, you know what I'm saying? Like, Publix is in my way of achieving what I actually want out of life.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I articulated that so well. Who am I?
Good on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it was just, oof. I'm just happy that I was able to realize that. And I want to take YouTube more seriously. But I also want a I will say this though. I know it's gonna sound far fetched, but I want to take YouTube seriously, but I don't think I ever want YouTube to be my only form of income.
Oh, totally understood. I don't think one form of income is ever sustainable. I think you got to have multiple cuz you can't have all your eggs in one basket, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people, I found a lot of people when they take YouTube seriously, like they want YouTube to be their full-time job. And I'm like, no, thanks.
Well,
This
you
is
can
like
have it be
fun
your
for me.
full-time job, but then also have incomes doing. You want it to lead to other sources. You want it to be like
Yeah.
the ocean or whatever, and then have a bunch of rivers. Is that how that works? Like you just want the water to flow into different sources
Yeah.
and be able to fill up your other sources of income from YouTube. So like let's say I have a YouTube channel and it's got 1 million subscribers and all of my videos are getting like hundreds of thousands of views. In those videos I could plug like my book or something, or I could plug the
Yeah.
podcast and just have, a big circle of different momentum going to other things that could bring income. So that's the way I look at YouTube, you know.
I look forward to you being the next Joe Rogan.
Dude, I'm so pumped about it. I'm so pumped about it.
Especially since you do this like every day. I'm like, damn, like bro, Eric and Eric introduced me to Joe Rogan yesterday. I was like, oh my god, he has over 1,000 episodes, like, and they're like 2 hours long each. I was like, oh my god, because
You
he's
didn't know
like,
about Joe Rogan?
no, I never knew.
Holy shit,
And
Elijah.
no, like I live under a rock. I
Yeah.
really do. Like I'm because Eric was like, yeah, like I can't believe we was watching your videos, and I was like, damn. He was like, damn, we really watching the next Joe Rogan. Like, but I thought he meant Seth Rogen. I was like, I was like,
It's funny.
damn, like, I was like, damn, like, I don't. he didn't post his comedy that much yet. Like I don't know. But Seth Rogen's pretty fun. I could see that too. And he was like, no, like Joe Rogan. I was like, who the fuck is Joe
That's
Rogan? So I
so
went over here looking
funny.
it up,
Oh
and
my
he's like, no,
god.
like you don't know who Joe Rogan is. Like,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
it was pretty crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're like Patrick Starr, man, living under a rock. It's Joe fucking Rogan. You
Literally, oh
you
my
didn't
god,
you weren't aware of like all the Spotify controversy last month with him.
yeah.
Yeah, this guy Joe. By the way, I've been watching Joe Rogan since I was like 16. It's like 2016,
Damn.
2017. Right around, he's like my biggest fucking motivation slash inspiration source. You know,
Wow.
from anybody who's not family. Like he's number one. So yeah, dude. He signed a contract with Spotify last year for $150 million for him to take his podcasts to stop posting them on YouTube and start only posting them on Spotify. $150 million. Yeah. You ever seen Fear Factor?
No.
Oh, he was the host of Fear Factor too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. You know
Okay.
who Ricky Thompson is?
No.
Well, I don't expect you to know. I just you're like a straight white man. Like I'm sure you wouldn't know. I used to get compared to him a lot in high school, and did not know who this man was until like last year. I was like, oh my god, everybody's been comparing me to this man for years, and I just now looked him up. Like,
How close are they?
what'd you say?
How close are they? How are the comparisons?
Um, I think Ricky Thompson is like I feel like my personality is very sarcastic. Um, I think people just like loud LGBT men. I think that's all what it is. People just like talkative LGBT black men more specifically. Like I
I was gonna say because you're
that's the only
talkative, but you're not
correlation I
really
see.
loud.
Would you say?
You're talkative, but you're not really loud.
Yeah, I'm not really loud, but people like to force me into that category though, if
I
that makes
see.
sense.
I see.
Yeah, so I get
Yeah.
that a lot. That's just what it
All right,
is.
let's do some Joe Rogan shit here real quick. I want to talk about mushrooms.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
So, okay, so
Let me let
let
my
me
dog out of my room real quick. Go ahead. Keep
okay.
talking. This is why I don't let him in my room when I film because he can't make up his mind on what he
Oh my
wants.
God,
Yeah.
understand. Well,
Okay.
like, yeah, so it all started when my friend was when I invited my friend over.
This is
Um,
Eric, by the way.
like, no, this is not Eric. This is actually a different friend,
Okay.
right? And she's like, Elijah, let's go half on these chocolates. I didn't even. I probably need to mention that I didn't know these were shrooms until I actually fucking took them. Um, she was like, let's go half on these chocolates,
You
right?
thought it was just chocolate?
Um, yeah, it was chocolates, right? It was. I thought it was. I was like, damn, these some expensive
It's
edibles, right?
expensive. Oh, you thought it
Shrooms
was
are
pot.
yeah, I thought it was pot.
Okay.
I was like, damn, like these are some expensive fucking edibles. Like even the lollipops, like this shit better fuck me up. Like I better not remember what's going on the next day. Like I better not know what's going on. Um, but so we did that. Her slow self, her dumbass put in the wrong address, and the package got lost. So we went on an adventure to go look for this fucking package. We found it in this post office. Um, we got the chocolates, and I actually filmed us unboxing the chocolates. We also got lollipops to go with it too. The lollipops aren't I actually haven't tried lollipops, but Eric and this girl, her name is Jimone, they tried lollipops, said it wasn't that strong. But basically, we took the shrooms that day when she came over. Um and shrooms are very like it's a very unexplainable. I think the best way to explain it, it's like acid but smoother. I think that's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
kind.
It opens up your mind, but it's not like acid. Like you know how acid's just
Acid could
like
be
I don't know how to
harsh.
explain it.
I've
Acid, yeah,
I've
acid
had
can
my
be
fair
harsh. Like
share.
I
Yeah.
feel like my brain is fried after acid. Like I my you know like,
The
but it's like
visuals are more intense on acid, I feel, and more colors. More colors, I
yeah.
feel. On mushrooms, I didn't really get too much colors, you know.
Yeah, but I took like they were like it was like this bar, right? With like all these squares, right? I took three the first time. Um, honestly, I was, I was being really dumb. Like I was when I say dumb, like Okay, me and Gemini, when we're together, we
What
are
a
legit
name.
comedians. Huh?
I said, what a name that
I
is.
know.
Yeah.
I love Gemini. But like, yeah. Me and Gemini, when we're together, we can't take each other seriously. So we was just laughing the our jokes out of this world. I kept making jokes like, okay, so I literally held in my piss for like 3 hours while I was on shrooms. I don't know why I did that. I just did it. I was like, what if I said I give up and I just passed out and pissed myself right here, right now? Yeah. So yeah, that was that. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a blur because I just feel like I was laughing the whole time. Um, and so with Eric, that's when things got interesting. Um, Eric was like, "Oh
I
yeah,
can
like
see how Eric would make things interesting.
yeah." Eric made everything, made it a lot more interesting. I should probably mention that when Gemini is high, she's pretty sober. She acts sober. She acts no different. I don't know how to explain it.
Hmm.
She's the only person I've ever met like that. She's like, "No, I'm high. I just don't act that different." And I'm like, "How?" Like, I don't know. I just didn't
Maybe she was
understand.
high, but she wasn't tripping balls, because I feel like
Yeah,
you'd be really
like she don't
huffy.
be tripping. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it. Like I be tweaking. But Eric, okay, so basically I need to explain this because this is actually pretty interesting. So Eric was like really talking about his tolerance and I was like, I don't know, Eric. Like these shrooms ain't no joke. Like it's not acid. It's nothing strong. It's not like really strong weed. I have a very like love hate relationship with weed.
So do
Like
I. Very.
yeah, like weed is either like it's like the best trip ever, or it's like oh my god, I just want this to be over. I hate it so
Oh my
much.
god, same here, man.
Yeah. But with shrooms, it was a lot smoother. And so, okay, back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping everywhere. But Eric, right? So me and Eric, we're we were talking about like how he has like a really like strong tolerance to psychedelics. He can handle it. Da da da. I was like, all right, since you can handle it, I gave him the lollipop, and I gave him 4 squares. I only took two. I only took like 2 or 3. I gave this man four. Plus, he took all four plus the lollipop. I was really surprised. I was like,
Eric went for it.
yeah, Eric
Yeah.
really went for it, right? Um, I was just like, wow, good luck. And and it was funny because like it really, oh yeah, I probably should have mentioned that we was on my laptop and I was showing him this YouTube channel called Benji Plant. There is this YouTube channel, like I don't really know what you're into, but like this YouTuber, right? He's like really into plants and he does like all these plant tours and plant designs and stuff like that. It is a literal therapy. Like I have never there is not a single piece of media that exists on the planet that calms my anxiety like the way Benji Plant calms my anxiety. Like it's
Huh.
actually insane.
Okay.
Um so yeah, I was watching him, and it's funny because we was only supposed to watch one video, and 4 hours later, we're like we fucking watched his whole channel. Like
Damn, man.
it was like pretty insane. But like basically, I felt it. I was so calm. Like watching his channel made me feel so calm. I was like, I feel like that's like the closest to Nirvana I'm gonna fucking get. Like I
Benchy
was
plants,
so
baby.
calm. Yeah,
Yeah.
watching Benji Plant and just like chilling with Eric. Eric, on the other hand, this man was like he enjoyed it, but I can tell that shit was hitting him way harder than it was hitting me. Like he didn't even like. I was like, "You good, bro?" Because I noticed this man was like this man was like still for like 2 hours straight. He was like, "No, like I'm fine. I just really feel it right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going through it."
I feel like Eric
This
Eric
man's
probably
face is
stopped
red and
blinking.
everything.
Eric probably stopped blinking for like an hour.
for,
Just got frozen.
for real, like me, like I was cool. That was definitely like top three psychedelic experiences for me. Like that was really nice. Um,
Wait, so what else was
but
there? Okay, so you had so your girl Dem 1A. Jeez, how do you say?
oh no, that was two separate occasions. That
Two
was the
se-
first occasion. I did it
okay.
twice. The first
Within the
one, it
last
was
week?
like okay. This was all last week.
Okay.
Erica was
Oh,
yesterday,
good for you. Doing
but
shrooms twice in a week.
yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I did that with acid one time. I've been there.
God, that's way worse. I needed like 2 months to recover from that acid trip. Actually, I don't think I ever recovered from that. I feel like that one time I did acid completely changed my life.
Yes. That's what it does.
Literally changed my
That's what it
life.
fucking does, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, like
Okay, how did it change your life?
oh my god, let me tell you.
We gotta
That
do
was
it.
like that was like number one. Like you know how I said mushrooms was like top three? It was like acid's like my number one. Like that was the best trip I've ever had before. So this one night, me and Gemini, I had to say it was a sleepover because we didn't sleep that night. We literally stayed up all night. So basically, me and Gemini, right? We took this acid together, um, and we was like, and there was a lot going on this year. This was in 2020, I believe. Yeah, this was in 2020. This was like the end of 2020. A lot happened that year, and we was just like reflecting on a lot of things, like in our lives and everything, and like there was a lot of stuff. It completely changed my perspective on how I see the world, in relationships and everything. More specifically, like we had like this deep conversation about like um racism, right? And it was like because I realized like out of our whole friendship, like we've been through a lot together. She's never gotten mad at like she doesn't like I find with like okay, more specifically, Gemini is like a black woman, right? I find that like she never really gets mad at like white people for not understanding experiences or like men not understanding a woman's experiences. And I never would have realized until like I really like had this deep conversation about it that like somebody that is completely unaffected by a complex will never know or never understand. So there's essentially no point in getting upset about it, if that makes sense. I never understood that until she completely broke that down to me. Um, yeah, and
Hmm.
I know it's gonna sound crazy, but like ever since I understood that concept, it's been really difficult for me to be like offended or judgmental of literally anybody. Like I'd never it was the most freeing experience ever.
All right, I'm gonna say some racist shit real quick.
All right, let's go. Hit me
I'm,
with
I'm kidding. I got
it.
nothing.
Yeah, I'm just like okay, like I remember I had this friend, right? He would just say like a lot of like, well, we used to be friends, but like he would say like a lot of ignorant stuff or whatever. And I was like, I just had to realize, I'm like, wow, like you're, especially like, sometimes I was like had homophobic undertones, homophobic or racist undertones. I had to realize I was like, wow, you're white and you're straight, so you're never gonna
It's
experience
hard
it.
to
There's no point in
empathize.
arguing because you're not gonna experience it. What'd you
Yeah,
say?
it's hard to empathize.
Yeah, it's hard to empathize, so it's like I can't be upset for you. Like I feel like I feel like in my life experience, I feel like the only time like a person understands is when that person is like their family. Like it's like your parent or your child that's affected by this complex or your spouse. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
so it's like I don't think I could ever be
it's kind
upset
of
at
like what's
that.
going on in Ukraine. Like we're not so affected by it right now, because
Yeah.
we don't live there. We don't know anybody who lives there really, unless you do.
Yeah,
But
we're
people
not
who have
affected by
family
those
there,
complexes.
yeah, like there's Ukrainian people here though who have families over there, and they think about it all the time because their
Yeah,
families are in danger and their country's at war. You know,
it's a
big
great comparison.
big shit. But so how do you think? Do you think that you would have understood what she said as greatly as you did if you were sober, or do you think that the acid really influenced how
No,
you felt?
because she has tried to explain this concept to me like so many times, and oh my god, it will always go south. I will be like, and it will always like we have a hard time taking each other seriously. So the conversation will always end like, you know what, shut the fuck up, you're a coon. Like I don't want to hear it, and it's just like, but but like I realize like acid opens up your mind. It opens up your mind to like so many possibilities and perspectives and shit like that. Like, and I feel like I had such a better understanding of like the world and our friendship and things like that. Like that was such a turning point of our friendship. I know this girl since I was like 11. We've been friends since wow, like, and like that was such a turning point for us. And then like she was going through a lot at the time too, and like I had to like give her like my perspective on it. And like I feel like I wouldn't have been able to articulate it as well, and I feel like she wouldn't have been so open if we were sober.
Right.
Because acid makes you aware just of things that's like, like it just really opens up your mind. I don't That's the best way I could explain it. It just opens up your mind, you
And
know.
if it does, what I would hope it would do more often for me is it would remove your ego from the equation. So it allows you to kind of like, for me, it'll allow me to set Frankie to the side and start to
Yeah.
think more level headed without all of Frankie's past experiences prohibiting me from thinking clearly and absorbing new information.
Yeah, that was what was really cool about it for me too. Like it just gave me like such a deep sense of peace. Um and it's funny because like at the time I like temporarily left social media, but after that acid tab and after like we had this deep conversation about social media because Giovanni doesn't like social media either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean she's on it, but she doesn't like it. Like she's not actively like it doesn't take up all of her time. Like
Right.
I used to be like so addicted. Like I was in the rabbit hole. But it's like now it's kind of just like I mean like yeah, now I just never got back on social media. I've thought about it just to have a social media presence, not really get back on social media. Because it's like now I just have a private account on Instagram where I just post photos I want to get off my phone and just share with like some friends. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on social media. I don't check for anybody. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Um, the closest social media I do is like just YouTube, exclusively YouTube. That's it.
When was this trip?
When was this?
Yeah.
This was, I believe, November 2020, November, December 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, longest night of my life, but
So
it
what else
was.
came from it? You said it was your favorite trip. So we've got this one like new idea that you were able to obtain. What else?
I think what else, honestly, okay. So we were also really talking about like a lot with our family. This was like also like near the end of wait. This was like near the end of our senior year, just to give us some perspective. Um, so we were like reflecting on all of our past like relationships and friendships and like issues with our family. Um, as far as like, one thing that this trip made me realize, it made me realize that like, or I shouldn't say me, but like us, because we were both having this conversation together throughout this trip. Like we realized that like our parents made a lot of mistakes, but it's hard to be mad at them because they're humans too. They're people too. And there's no, like, nobody's perfect. And they are, how am I going to say this? People only understand other people as deep as they understand themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
while
mean, you
also,
can't go deeper into somebody else if you can't do it on yourself because you don't even know
yeah,
you don't even know that that exists.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, okay, like my grandmother, for example. I noticed it's like I this is maybe like TMI, but like my grandmother has always been like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like she's always had an issue with like sexual stuff and like girls. Like my sister, like it's pretty bad. Like you can see the disparity. Like I'm like, damn, I really be doing whatever the hell I want, and my sister like gets it, and my sister don't do nothing. This girl don't do nothing.
Oh,
When I tell you, she came to the family reunion with like, those like off the shoulder shirts. It wasn't even a crop top. It was just an off the shoulder, and she had her like
sure.
raw. My grandmother called her a slut. It was pretty bad, and it's like I really like I had this deep conversation with my grandmother. Like what's going on? Like what happened?
Yeah.
And I had to realize I had to like kind of step back and reflecting on those past experience. I was able to like step back and realize like, wow, like she has something deep and personal going on that really has nothing to do with us, and she can't even reach down inside of herself and realize that this is holding her back from understanding the world today.
It's
um
common with older people that there's
yeah,
just they had a
very
different way
common.
of living and then they've had this mindset ingrained in their head for so long that it's like you get to a certain age, and unless something drastic happens, it'd be really difficult to counteract all those years of this mindset being ingrained.
Yeah, and it's absolutely insane. And I'm glad because like I also went through a lot with like my my parents, especially like my stepfather. Like he used to be very like emotionally like abusive, and it was just like, and then it's like reflecting back on those past experiences, like on acid, was like, wow, like I really can't be upset because it's like his mother was like that with him, and
So
he's just
that's
feeling what
empathy.
he knows how. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so acid was able to make you a bit more empathetic towards
yeah,
other
but it's
people.
like
Yeah.
I used to be so shut off and like these type this type of subject matter. Talking about like family and that type of subject matter used to be so difficult and like hard for me to like interpret and understand. But like acid was acid gave me like not just the compassion for other people, but like it gave me it it made me realize how like it made me realize how compassionate I need to be with myself. And I think the most life-changing part about acid for me, or like that trip I should say, because acid sounds so fucking scary to people that that never took it before.
It's a
I think the
shame.
most yeah, I think the most like I think the biggest thing about acid for me is like it gave me like the mental clarity I desperately needed, because all my life I struggle with like um confidence and acceptance of myself. But it made me realize that I am allowed to be I need to be compassionate more towards to myself. And
So important.
yeah, it's very important. Self-compassion is so important. Like,
Yeah, because you were just saying like it's important for people to be empathetic towards each other and to put yourself in their shoes. But why don't more people talk about being empathetic towards yourself? Like, why can't,
yeah,
like, we're so judgmental about ourselves and our own shortcomings and our own insecurities. Why can't we have some love for ourselves and kind of be like, well, there's, like a childhood, like parents who could have done things differently that led to lifestyle choices or the way that we are. Like there's so many things that are so many aspects that go into who we are. Like why can't we be more empathetic towards ourselves? Which is one of
yeah,
the it's like you don't hear it, like people don't talk about it enough. And I made a video about it where like I said one of the things that helped with me was like every night I tell myself that I love myself 10 times. And it sounds so silly, but maybe it's a subconscious thing, but like to me, I've always found value in doing something like that. And just even being empathetic towards myself and loving myself was an idea that hadn't come to me until like maybe a little over a year ago. And it was so foreign at the time just because I've never heard anybody talk about it before. But it
same
seems so
here.
obvious. It seems like, duh, like, of course we have to.
Yeah, and it's like it's pretty cool that you came to that conclusion by yourself, because it's like even that you did acid by yourself. Like bet you never did acid with somebody else. Like I could not imagine not doing it with Gemone. Like Gemone was like she kind of gave me the clarity that I needed, because like she's so secure within herself, and I've always been like jealous, of that. But like when it comes to like confidence, confidence is constantly fleeting. But because we're as human beings, we're feeble creatures, and it's very unnatural for us all to be confident all the time. But we can always do things to keep ourselves grounded. Like, what I used to tell myself? Actually, I still do tell myself this. Growing up, a lot of people would say that I do too much, or like, like, oh my God, like you're just like you're always, and I had to like tell myself, like one thing I still tell myself to this day: you are not too much or not enough. You are everything and motherfucking more, and you need to be treated that
Fuck
way.
yeah.
Treat
Fuck
yourself
yeah.
that way. Yeah, I always say that. It
Yeah.
has kept me out of a lot of toxic relationships, friendships, and experiences.
Yeah, that's the well. It's like a lot of people don't understand that, right? Like what we mentioned earlier, especially at our age. This is a concept that seems foreign to people until later in their life, where they just have a lot more life experience. And I think that's just something that psychedelics can be very beneficial with, is introducing these ideas to you that otherwise would be foreign to you. Uh, like
Yeah.
LSD introduced a lot of shit to me. Ecstasy, like MDMA, introduced a lot of shit to me too.
Wow.
That was a real like eye opener for sure. MDMA was an eye opener for me,
Wow.
and yeah, like shout out to psychedelics.
Yes, like I feel like I'm like, wow, like I hate how people like are so judgmental of that stuff like that because it's just like, damn, like you'll never see the light. You'll
I
never
know.
like really see like inside yourself, like the way like psychedelics can make you see things about yourself, you know?
I think a lot of people are maybe scared to go deep inside themselves just because it's territory that they haven't really been to before, and maybe there's things that they regret or things that they're not secure about within themselves, and they're scared to face it. And they
Yeah,
know what, you know, maybe some of these people have a grasp on what psychedelics can do, and they've heard stories, and they're just afraid to conquer or face their own demons, and that it's scary, dude. Like facing your demon, that's what psychedelics will do. Is they'll, at least in my experience, they'll bring your demons and they'll fucking put you head like face to face with it in a duel, and you'll have to like fight your demons for
yes,
7 hours straight. Oh
right
my
here, right now.
god.
You gotta get through this shit right here, right
Yeah,
now.
like
Like,
it's too late. Like you took the drugs and you're stuck thinking about some childhood shit that you haven't thought about for 10 years, and you're going to be thinking about it for 7 hours, motherfucker. And then what one thing that happens is you can come out of that trip and be like, yeah, that was a bad trip. I had a really bad time and it just wasn't fun. But you can call it a bad trip because it wasn't enjoyable. But truth is, just because it wasn't enjoyable doesn't mean that it was a bad trip. Like you
yeah,
could be a significantly better person because of a bad trip and because of the demons that you faced. So calling it a bad trip is really like, uh, it's just not totally the truth. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I agree. That's how I feel like with weed. Because I usually take it with like a good, and when I'm in a good mental headspace, I did that shit one time. The last time I did that thing, I took this edible. It was like maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. And I took it after I was a really crazy day at work. And I was like, oh my God, I'm angry. Anger is an emotion, and just so you know, it is probably gonna sound like the most anti-men thing you're ever gonna hear, but anger is an emotion that I rarely feel. Like, you know how hard it is to get me
Me too.
angry? It's actually really
I'm never
difficult.
angry. Seriously,
Yeah, people don't
I relate
understand
to you.
that.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people that are like angry, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you angry?
I
Like,
pity you.
I pity you. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm like, oh my God, like a lot of people don't understand that, or a lot of like more specifically guys don't understand that. Like, I don't.
It's more of a masculine trait, it seems, but I know some women who go fucking crazy too. But
Yeah,
I'm almost never mad. Seriously, you can ask anybody that I know. It's very rare that I'll freak out or I'll talk loudly because I'm upset. It's so uncommon for me.
yeah. Like you know how like people see stress if they're like, I can't let a job stress me out. Da, 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 da. I'm like one of those people. That's who I am with anger. I'm like, if this job's making me angry, I gotta go. Like I don't being angry is an emotion that I really feel and I don't have experience in that emotion. Like, like I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah, but it's
If this
also we're striving to be the best version of ourselves all the time. I feel
yeah,
like that's what we want to be, and then anger is not uh, a high source of energy. Like it's not a good
yeah,
emotion to be feeling. You want to be grateful. Like you want to like have love in your heart. You don't want anger or anxiety or
literally.
yeah.
And it's like when I took that, I was like I was like, oh my God, I'm angry. And it's literally all pouring out. Like, I'm literally like, I was fucking falling apart, bro. Like, it was, I was like, oh, but honestly, music helps.
Yeah.
Music helped, but yeah, that was,
This was on
thank you,
weed.
Echo. Thank you, Drake,
Which Drake? Old Drake or new Drake?
old Drake.
Fuck yeah. Like take care, thank me later type
Yeah,
shit. Okay.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was, yeah. I'm like, wow, music is, oh, it was, I'm a bit of a music junkie. I wish I was more into like stuff that's like more retro, but it's like
Like old the classic
yeah, like
rock.
classics. Like I've been trying, but
I could put
honestly,
you
it's
onto
really hard
things.
for me to go back any further than the 2000s. I feel like the only people I go back from before the 2000s, not 2000s, before the 90s is probably just Queen. Like it's like exclusively Queen. and it's like,
That's not a bad thing. Like that's not a bad group to be listening to pre-90s though.
yeah,
Queen's pretty much as good as it gets. You
yeah.
are missing a couple others though. Like you're missing the Beatles, and you're
I've
missing
actually
Pink
never listened to the
Floyd.
Beatles before.
Dude, I'm so sorry for you. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's the
I've
best
actually never
music
listened to them.
ever. Holy
Wow,
shit. Oh my.
that's true.
Be- They, I mean, they're by far my favorite band. Like nobody's
Seriously?
no band or artist has come close to the Beatles for me except for maybe Kanye. Like
Wow.
Beatles are number one, and
Oh.
Pink Floyd is really high up there too. You gotta check out the Beatles, man. Put
Have you heard of Deftones?
no, what's that? Is that a band?
Yeah, it's a rock band. I'm like really into rock too, so yeah, Deftones is like
What kind of rock
my music.
is that?
It's like, hmm, damn, that's kind of hard to explain.
What year is it?
I would say like the 90s. Well, the album that I listened to is probably from 2000, early 2010s. Like,
Okay,
so yeah, that's what I usually
you
listen
gotta
to.
go put Abbey Road on your phone. You gotta listen to Abbey Road.
I'll check it out. I
Yeah,
will check it
it's
out.
the one where they're walking down a street. There's like, it's just the
Yeah,
Beatles walking on the street. Dude, Abbey Road and Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Holy shit. Yeah. Listen to that shit on mushrooms. It'll change your life.
oh
Oh my
shit,
god.
well,
Yeah,
shit. We should do mushrooms sometime.
I'm down.
Cool.
I'm like very antisocial on mushrooms because I just get put into my head. It's very hard for
Oh,
me to have a good time, you know.
I understand.
Yeah,
I'm very
it's
anti-social on weed.
yeah,
Cool.
kind of like that. Like I'm social when I'm sober, but if you put me on mushrooms, I'm going to be thinking about death a lot. I'm going to be thinking about, and not in a bad way. Like I won't be like scared of death, but I'll be thinking about it. Like that's just the things that I'll be thinking about, like death and life and what's the meaning, what's the purpose of relationships, how does art come into play? Like why is art so huge? Why do we like it so much? Uh, God,
Yeah,
God comes up a lot. Universe, all that shit. I took mushrooms a month ago, and I recorded myself on my microphone talking, and there's hours of me talking into my mic, and I might release that one day. There's some shit on there. There's some shit on there, and
I think you, I think you should release it now. So like you release all these videos on top of it. People scroll down and are like, what the fuck is a 7 hour video of? Like like it can be like one of those. It can be one of your dinosaur videos. Like what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
I have a couple of those on my channel. Like I'm trying. I need a post. This can fucking be down here. Nobody fucking watches this shit. This is the dark ages down here.
What the fuck is that door behind you? What's going on there? Is that
That
a
is my
door?
small ass closet.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
closet. Okay.
it's the most awkward closet I've ever had in any house I've, because the closet's like it's just like why did y'all even put this in here? Y'all might as well should have just not made a closet here. Like
I know. Yeah.
it's literally the dumbest closet I've ever had.
All right, this meeting's gonna end in less than a minute, so I'll end the podcast here. Uh,
Okay, it was really nice talking to you. Thank you for having me on here.
it was nice talking to you too. I'll talk to you about this later, but you gotta like document Colombia in some way or another. You have to figure out how to do something with that.
I hope so. I'm trying.
No, not I hope
I want
so.
I
You
want
have
to. It's
to.
just that it's kind of dangerous to have iPhones. iPhones aren't really a thing there, so
So
it's
you're not
kind
gonna
of like
bring your phone?
no, I am. I mean, I'd be able to have it out like that.
Oh,
Or
okay.
if I film, it can't be of myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess
I'll
you'll be in a
probably do
hostel
that.
though,
I'll
or
film,
you
but
could
it can't be
write.
like a selfie thing.
Bring a notepad, write like one journal a day, like right
Oh, I
before you go to
will.
sleep. You have to do that.
Well, I
That's a
have many
video.
thoughts
Okay,
later. Yes, everything I'm gonna bring. But thank you, Frankie. You
of
have a great
course.
day.
All right, you too. Bye.
See you.